Hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about something we are going to be seeing quite a bit of, and that's flash pulmonary edema. This happens when fluid quickly fills the air sacs in the lungs, making it very hard to breathe. It usually happens because of sudden heart problems. What happens is when the heart starts to fail, the body tries to fix it by turning on the sympathetic nervous system. This raises the heart rate and blood pressure, but can also push fluid into the lungs, making breathing suddenly much worse. We're going to talk about a couple key points about flash pulmonary edema, then we're going to watch a video about an elderly gentleman who is having a case of it. So again, flash pulmonary edema is caused by the sympathetic nervous system. When the heart starts to fail, the sympathetic nervous system steps in and tries to restore the normal cardiac output. Usually what happens in this process is that along with increasing blood pressure, the sympathetic nervous system also increases the blood pressure inside of the lungs, something we call pulmonary hypertension. And when that happens, that pressure starts to push fluid backwards, and the fluid leaves the circulatory system and ends up in the alveoli. It is a form of restrictive lung disease, which just means that it's hard to get air in and it's easy to get air out. It causes a VQ mismatch. This is something that we haven't talked about yet, but something we'll be talking about next semester. V stands for ventilation and Q stands for cardiac output. So all that's happening is that the lungs are still getting a normal blood flow, but the air isn't able to get in because the fluid is blocking it. And so this is a ratio just like the LT ratio, right? So when the numerator becomes smaller, it's going to mess with the overall ratio. Flash pulmonary edema does cause a capillary shunt. It does cause hypoxia, and the type it causes is hypoxic hypoxia. And one of the main treatments is CPAP.
And what I actually want to do is demonstrate the treatment of this condition with both CPAP, BiPAP, and high-dose nitroglycerin. And put a CPAP mask on him.
So today's video comes from Larry Mellick again. Right off the bat here, this patient is pretty sick. I don't know how long he has been in the hospital or in the emergency department more specifically, but it looks like that he's sick enough to where the hospital staff is going to put him on CPAP right away.
He's had it before.
Yeah, he's had.
Yeah. He says he's had it on
So diaphoretic. Sorry.
Oh, we were switching out a little bit. Push it really tight.
Ma'am, he tolerates the mask pretty well, if I remember right, because last time I talked, I treated him, he seemed to tolerate it well.
All right, so just taking a look here, we can tell that our patient is already having a hard time breathing. He is laying on his side. He is getting lower energy. He's using his abdominal muscles to breathe. So he doesn't even have enough energy to sit up in tripod, which would help him expand the lungs. So he's past that point. And if we listen carefully, we can hear the fluid in the lungs, which is called rales. It was that snoring sound. I'm going to slow it down just a little bit. It's pretty pronounced in this patient. That was a good one. That big snore right there. He's having those that sound upon expiration, right? So he is working pretty hard to breathe. His lungs sound pretty full.
Ma'am, he tolerates the mask pretty well, if I remember right, because last time I talked, I treated him, he seemed to tolerate it well.
So here's the vital signs. We have hypertension, which is one of the hallmark signs of the sympathetic nervous system. So someone who has flash pulmonary edema, we expect them to be hypertensive. We have our SpO2 at 72%, pretty low. And then we have our heart rate at 113, so he's tachycardic. So these are pretty typical vital signs of something that we see in flash pulmonary edema.
So are we tracking on the pulse ox up there? Yeah.
It was, you know, before.
So I think every time he comes in, though, he's very hypertensive.
Sometimes, I mean, the pressure support is more comfortable if I can do that. But if
Right.
not, then
So we're coming up on the SATs.
All right. So taking a look at our CPAP intervention, we saw that our SpO2 was low. And so one of the things the CPAP does is to help increase FiO2, right? So we put more FiO2 here in the alveoli so it could end up across the ACM. That is the P1 minus P2 portion of Fick's law. So again, we increased P1, and as a result, it increased our oxygen concentration in the arterioles. We also increased our surface area with that CPAP via PEEP, which helps expand those lungs and helps to recruit those collapsed alveoli and can also help to push some of that fluid out of the lungs back into the circulatory system.
Now, has he got nitroglycerin yet?
And so it's kind of cool to see. We actually can see Fick's law working, right? I don't know how long he's been on the CPAP, but again, the SpO2 is up. Heart rate is still high, blood pressure is still high, but let's see what happens.
Okay, so how'd you set up your drip?
Well, we gave him while we were waiting on it. We gave him one sublingual, but it only took a minute to get the drip in here, and we just started him at 400.
Okay.
And we're gonna keep an eye.
He gave us thumbs up.
Did he? Okay. Still work?
All right, so he's still working pretty hard to breathe. The CPAP has increased his SpO2, but he's still tired.
Working hard, though.
And of course, as we can see, he's still slumped over. He's feeling a little better. I know that because he's able to sit up a little bit more, and now he's able to use his arm to kind of hold himself up on the side of the bed. So he has a little bit more energy than he did before the CPAP, but not too much.
But sats up a little bit, pressure's down.
Oh, pressure came down to looks like 170.
But sats up a little bit.
171 systolic. I can't really tell the diastolic. So we're coming down.
So what's his pressure doing?
171.
Yeah.
All right, so now he is more sitting up, so he's starting to feel a little bit better. We can see pressure coming down. Heart rate's still high, but SpO2 is still up.
Stats came up with once the bypass went on, 2-3 minutes of that.
X-rays here.
I have no idea who came up with the idea to get me this, but it's genius.
Kind of man, like that. Shoulder a little bit. It's against.
Hey, Chris.
Right.
So what's happening now?
We're getting ready to intubate him.
Okay. So he vomited.
He vomited, so we're going to intubate him.
With
So what's happening here is that our patient vomited while wearing that mask. And what can happen is when that continues, that vomit can seep back into the trachea and can cause some lung damage. So the airway is compromised because this patient is now vomiting. It looks like that he does have more energy, so the CPAP was working to make him feel better, and the CPAP probably would have continued had he not vomited. But again, since he vomited, we have to protect the airway here, so he's going to go ahead and get intubated.
while on the face mask. So
So the problem is, with pulmonary edema fluid, but it's still going to be, still potentially mixed with gastric flora,
Are you okay? You gonna vomit
mouth
again?
flora, that kind of thing. You don't want that back.
so your significant other's girlfriend. What happened tonight then?
He woke up about an hour, which I mean 4 o'clock, about 3 o'clock, I guess, about 2:30.
Okay,
Said that he was sweating. He had that cold kind of sweat.
right.
And he got up and left. I thought he was in the bathroom. And he come back and he heard the heaving, that rasping.
Yeah.
And here we came. Right
Yeah.
here.
All right. So you and I have met before because
Yes.
we treated him in another room
Yes.
here probably a month or two ago, or for flash pulmonary edema. Maybe it was longer.
It
Maybe
was longer than that. Last time he was here, they just sent him on that same day.
Yeah,
That's because he had too much salt.
yeah,
The
yeah.
time before that was like this. Actually, this is worse than the
Okay,
time before that.
okay, yeah.
But you took care of it now.
Yeah, and it still probably was his favorite T-shirt.
Yeah.
All right, so with the intubation, he's getting some medication through an IV, and that's going to help him tolerate the tube that's about to be put in the trachea.
And you can go ahead and
We'll be fine.
Is this where you can see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it looks like here we have one of those video laryngoscopes. So we're going to be able to watch this intubation. Going in with the suction, this is something that we're going to be using a lot. You're going to become best friends with that suction device. Hard to see here. Right there is the trachea, and then right down here is the esophagus. And then the vocal cords are right here and right here. Looks like a tiny little airway. Definitely not the easiest intubation. But it looks like that he's got it. Alrighty. So alrighty. So thanks for watching today, guys. I'll be coming out with some videos in the next few days talking about tension pneumothoraces and how we can handle that in the hospital as students.